Today on Community Cooking, we have guest chef Samuel Sellona back in the kitchen with another incredible meal. We're making garlic and lemon thyme prawns with pasta Provencal. It's one meal you won't want to miss. We really are cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community. So grab a seat, get comfortable. We've got another great show for you. This is your Community Cooking. Welcome to Community Cooking. I'm your host, Kirk Lyons, and in our kitchen today, a familiar face, my friend, Chef Samuel Sellona. Oh, we're gonna fist bump. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Sanitary, right?
Yeah.
How are you, Chef?
I'm doing well.
Great, great. Now, you are the chef at Torrance Memorial Medical Center.
Yes, I am.
The executive chef.
Executive chef.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I manage a staff of about 150 people. We feed about 2,000 to 3,000 meals a day.
Wow.
We have 5 kitchens. 4 of them are actual cafes or bistros, and it's busy.
Yeah, I'll say. And I mean, you know, when most people think of like hospitals and food, it's not necessarily the match made in heaven, but it's a lot different at Torrance Memorial. I mean, we're talking, they actually order off of like a restaurant style menu, correct?
Yes, it's a restaurant style menu. Patients actually look at a menu, order, and tickets goes down to our kitchen. Our cooks will look at it like in a restaurant, prepare to order, and within 15 to 20 minutes, they get their meal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And how big of a menu are we talking here? How many items are we looking at?
We'll say about there's about 5 protein entrees, salads, sandwiches.
And this rotates on a daily basis?
No, it's a set menu, just like a restaurant.
Okay,
Yeah.
set. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, you know, hopefully you're not there too long where you go through the menu, right? But that's amazing. And you also cater events, right?
Yes, we do. We do high-end caterings. We do foods just like what we're preparing here, and then we do large banquets. Buffet style. We do Russian style. You know, sit down, plate up. You know,
amazing.
The whole 9 yards.
Now, for any of our viewers who have never seen Chef Samuel on our show before, or those who have, you will. For those who have, you'll know one thing or two things. You always come with a classic meal and a technique. A technique. I mean, it's always something else, and that's why we love having you here, because you're a classically trained chef, tons of hotel experience.
Yes.
So it's that sort of cooking is very much based in sort of French classic, tried and true techniques, which a lot of chefs nowadays, and even acclaimed chefs nowadays, might not know how to do. Right?
Yeah.
Sort of fallen by the wayside, some of those techniques in terms of like being passed on and utilized on a regular basis.
Just basic talent, experience like fabricating meats, garmager, you know, things like that. Just old school that the younger chefs, they're not familiar with.
Right, your own butchering, things of that nature. Well, today we have another delicious sounding meal. We have garlic and lemon thyme prawns and a pasta Provencal.
Yes.
So first, before we get started here, quickly tell us the difference between prawns and shrimp.
Well, shrimp typically is cold water. The flavor is not as sweet as the warm water, which is what we have here. This is a tiger shrimp. It's from the West Indo-Pacific Ocean. Waters are warmer, and the shrimp tends to eat more of the things that are sweet, like algae and things like that. Yeah.
And as you can see, Chef brought us prawns with the heads on. So this is not something that should be scary, right? I mean, this is actually the way you want to buy it, because this is this is a fresh product.
This is fresh, yes.
Yeah.
Never been frozen.
Okay.
If you decide not to do this, you can also purchase it already peeled and veined.
Sure, and you could use just regular shrimp if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But we've got the chef, so it's like he's bringing prawns, I'm eating prawns.
Yeah.
So why don't you show us how to deal with this protein?
Deveining. Okay. So deveining is what we'll start off with is just twisting the head off.
Okay. And those can be saved for stocks.
Stock, yes.
I mean, it makes it delicious. And all the shells, too. Throw them in a bag, in a freezer, and then just cook them with some aromatics and some water and make a stock.
Yep. a little bit of brandy, give it a nice sweet fish flavor.
Beautiful.
So this is what we typically see in the store. Again, this is a tiger shrimp because of the
Stripes.
tiger stripes. One of the things that I always remove is this pin right here, which is their weapon. And if it gets caught in someone's throat, you don't want that.
Oh.
So we remove that pin. It's pretty stiff. It's like a needle.
I did not realize that was their weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then I usually leave the tail on because it just has a nice appearance. I just peel it up all the way to the end, and just peel.
So you just do this part with your hand, and have a gentle hand, right? Because you don't want to rip the shrimp, which you can do. You get the hang of it after you've done it enough times.
So this is what we get right here.
Okay.
And down the back, there's going to be there's usually a vein back there. Sometimes you'll get lucky and find something, but we'll just do a slit.
We'll call that its digestive vein.
Yeah.
So you follow my drift. It's a food show, so we'll leave it at that.
So we do have one that's filled, and you would just scrape it with your knife to make sure it's all out.
Okay.
And then after that's all gone, it's ready to go. Just give it a quick rinse. Ice cold water.
Right. And we've done a bunch here already, as you can see. So we didn't want to have to do 20 of these on camera. So we've got that all ready to go.
So the marinade is fairly simple. It's really basic.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we do it one more time? I know we said we wouldn't do it 20 times. So do it one more time, just for someone who hasn't done this before. They can get a glimpse
give
of it.
It a twist.
Twist off the head.
And there's different techniques of removing the vein, but this is the one that usually works for me. So let's slide everything over. Again, there's going to be a needle. Pull that needle out, or spear.
Right.
And then from the end, you just kind of gently pull. And
once you make the first crack or the first peel, it becomes a lot easier. It sort of starts just opening up for you.
It starts filling up, yeah. And then again with the knife, just do slash in the back, and this one is pretty clean. So we'll just kind of.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Sometimes they're not clean, sometimes they are. But you can still trim it up there, and it would be great.
Yep.
Perfect.
So this is what we have.
Awesome. All right. Now, before we cook these shrimp, we're going to marinate.
Yeah.
So we have to make a marinade. So why don't you tell us about the ingredients that go into the marinade?
Okay. So it's really simple. It's just garlic, and if you love garlic, this is a perfect recipe.
Yeah, that's a good amount of fresh garlic.
Yeah,
right there.
this is about half a cup.
Okay.
About 4 to 5 ounces right here.
Okay.
Yeah, so that goes right in. This minced fresh garlic. It's about approximately 15 to 20
cloves.
Cloves, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then salt and pepper.
And typically with marinades, like marinades and vinaigrettes, dressings, you always kind of want to make them stronger than you think you need them, right?
Yes.
Because to do its job, to permeate and to flavor that protein, it needs to be pretty powerful. So if you make it as something that you could eat, it would not do its job.
Yes. Yeah. The flavors, you want them really intense, and it just adds to the dish overall.
Great.
Yeah.
And then what else goes in there?
Mint. I'm sorry. Thyme. Lemon thyme. If you take a smell of that, this is beautiful.
So good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
A lot of chefs don't use this, but I like to use it as well. But
so lemon thyme is just one variety of thyme, and it has a very lemony smell to it. But you could use all sorts of
different types.
Lots of different types of thyme. Okay.
Yeah. And this is my favorite right here. So what you do is you mince the thyme.
And we could show them real quick here. It's so easy to deal with this. I mean, basically how I do it is I just go the opposite direction, right? Just pull that off, right? And then these upper, these are really delicate, these smaller stems here. And then once I've collected enough of it, then you just give it a quick mince, right?
And sometimes you'll get one that starts to flower. So I think
I don't see any.
There's
little bit.
Yeah, they're like pink flowers.
Right.
And once it starts to flower, you can pick that off and use it as a garnish for your dish. Yeah.
Right, yeah, it's pretty, right.
Yeah, it's really pretty. It's a pink flower. Okay, and then the next ingredient would be just a little bit of olive oil.
Got to loosen that up there.
and then a quick toss. I need to get a glove here.
Okay, not a problem. And then how long are we looking in terms of marination?
Okay, typically I will marinate it overnight. Yeah.
Because there's no acid in here.
No.
It's not like we've put in any lemon or any wine or anything like that. So it's not going to start coagulating the proteins or cooking the proteins. It's just gonna get more and more. So overnight.
It's overnight.
Or even if you have it in the morning before you leave for work. But worst case scenario, even if you do it for an hour.
Yeah, hour would be good as well.
Yeah.
But to get that nice garlic essence in your shrimp, overnight would be perfect for it. Wow. And that's what we want.
That smells delicious. Yeah. It smells delicious. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Well, we're not going to let them marinate for an hour or overnight, but we are going to let them marinate. We're going to clean up our cutting boards here. When we come back, we're going to prep our or cook our shrimp, and then we're going to cook the pasta Provencal. You can explain to us what the Provencal is. All right, great. Okay. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
I try to keep up with what these young people is doing and knowing.
I was at work and I just got a text from a number that I didn't know.
I sent him a text. He texts me back and say, "Who dis?" And I just thought that was the funniest thing.
The next few weeks, you just made fun of me, like would answer the door and say, "Who dis?"
Who dis?
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
America, let's do lunch.
Welcome back to Community Cooking. I am in the kitchen with Chef Samuel Sellona from Torrance Memorial Medical Center. And he just showed us how to peel and devein shrimp, or actually these are tiger prawns. And then we made a very quick, easy marinade. I mean, we're talking garlic, some lemon, thyme, salt, pepper, olive oil. And that just shows you how simple a marinade can be. Yeah. And we could add to that. We could swap out different herbs. I mean, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
The only thing I guess we should say is if we added any acid to this, it would reduce the amount of time that we would want to marinate it, or else it would start cooking the protein. So anything like lemon or wine or vinegar or anything like that's going to start cooking the shrimp. But this, he said, optimally 24 hours, minimally 1 hour. Okay. Well, we're doing it for a few minutes, but we're going to pretend like it's been hours and hours. Now, we're going to make pasta Provencal. Let's first talk about this term Provencal. It's sort of a wide open term, right?
Yeah. Basically, it's a herb blend, and it's really simple ingredients. A Provencal or a Provencal, onions, garlic, maybe a little bit of herbs, and then that's it.
Yeah, so, because you'll hear other things like chicken Provencal or what have you, but which you can expect to find. Always tomatoes, always like onions or shallot, garlic, and then there's always going to be parsley, maybe another herb.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very rustic.
Wine
easy cooking,
too.
Yeah.
Wine.
Some wine, yeah.
And then always finished with some butter, right? You got to put in the butter. Right. So we're doing. It's a very simple sauce, and this could be eaten on its own or with a different protein, no problem. Right. And then for pasta, you've chosen, this is angel hair, but once again we could go any direction. And you've pre-cooked this here just to save us a little time. No one wants to watch pasta cook, but let's talk about this for a second too in terms of restaurants. It's not uncommon. What you've got set up here with this water bath and this strainer over here. This is something how you would see it in like a restaurant, or how that would be set up on the line. Talk to me about that real quick.
Basically, in the restaurant, most restaurants will use a dry pasta and then pre-cook it. And when the order comes in, then it will be blanched or rethermed in the water, and then tossed in whatever sauce that the customer chooses.
Right. So pre-cooking the pasta, so it's just so it's a little bit under al dente, and then cooling it right away, portioning it off, so it's all pre-portioned, ready to go. And then when you fire it on the line, all we've got to do is drop it into that strainer, and then what are we talking, like 30 seconds?
Yeah, less than a minute, and then it continues to cook, and then when it goes into your sauce that you're heating up, it continues to cook.
Right.
So by the time it gets to the customer, it's just piping hot.
And we were talking in the break. I was just reading an article earlier in the week where you know, a lot of people think that like fresh pasta is just like a superior product to a dried pasta. It's not necessarily the truth. One of the reasons that fresh pasta came to be in restaurants is because it is easier to fire on the line because it's only, you know, like a minute or so just to get that where you need it to be. So it was worth it for them to make that pasta, and probably cheaper because what are we talking? Flour, and you know what I mean, right? And that's your cost right there. And then easier to fire on the line. So it sort of replaced the dried pasta in the restaurants.
It has, and it's been a big change for a lot of restaurants. People expect fresh product.
Right. So the lesson here is don't feel like if you're having a dinner party or you're making pasta at the house that you necessarily have to make a fresh pasta. I mean, if you want to, go ahead and knock yourself out. It's great. But a dried pasta can be just as delicious and just a good product.
Yeah, I do it at home all the time. So
of course, right? You don't want to break out your pasta crank, and you know that's not easy work. Okay, so what's first? Are we going to cook the shrimp first?
We can start with the shrimp and then let that simmer.
Okay.
And then do a quick
Okay,
saute with the
so
pasta.
show us what we need to do.
Okay, so I need to turn the heat up. So let's see. I think I got it here. We're going to start off with our olive oil.
Okay.
So we'll get this nice and hot. That's about a tablespoon.
And olive oil, I mean, this is one dish where you really do want to use the olive oil. You know, you don't want to necessarily substitute with any other oil for this. I mean, because you really are looking for that flavor.
Yes, I am.
You know, no canola oil or vegetable oil in this dish.
Okay, I'm going to reach down here for a tong.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we just wanted to get it nice and hot. You want to see that smoke in there.
Right, and with cooking shrimp, like you could talk about this. A lot of people like to overcook it, but there's really no need, and it's very easy to tell when it's done. Correct?
We're looking for a pinkish color shrimp, nice and firm. It tends to curl a little bit, and that's when it's just about done.
Right. I mean, pretty much once it changes that color, you know, it's time to flip it or remove it, depending on if you've flipped it already or not.
Never overcook it.
No, it just gets rubbery.
Yeah, it's a rubbery product, and it's just difficult to eat with something nice like a pasta.
Right.
So let's go.
Starting to shimmer there for you.
Yeah.
It's always a good sign.
I'm gonna turn the heat up just a little bit more.
Okay.
We need that smoke.
And you could do this Provencal with you could do the same dish with scallops.
Right? Scallops and fish.
That'd be delicious.
Maybe. Yeah. And there's an herb that I like to use as well, which is Provencal. One of the main ingredients in this blend is lavender.
Yeah, I love
There's a lavender in here.
Yeah, herbs de Provence. Yeah, they can slightly vary depending on the brand, but yes, I like the lavender in there as well. Just a hint, though.
Just a hint, yeah, and just gives it a nice aroma, sweetness.
Yeah.
To match with the sweetness of the prawn.
Right.
Yeah. So. Okay, I think we're just about there. I'm gonna.
Yeah, those things, once they get up, then they get up really high, right? The temp on those.
I'm just used to using a fire.
Flame. I know.
Okay, I think we're almost there. Okay, I'm going to put the shrimp in.
You got it.
Right? There you go. There you go. There you go.
That's a nice sound. You're okay with adding them all at once, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If the pan's nice and hot, then I have no problem with that. Yeah. So while that's cooking, I can toss the pasta over there.
Okay.
Would you like? I'll get the pasta going.
Okay.
Okay. So 2 portions.
Oh, and those shrimp just got aromatic. Oh, is that garlic?
The garlic, yeah.
Oh, it smells so
That's
good.
the main part of the dish is that garlic. It's very pronounced. Set it here.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to turn the heat way up. And give it a quick toss just to make sure the separation.
And we can see on the bottom they're already starting to turn pink for us.
So while that's cooking, I can get the Provencal sauce started.
Great.
So, and I'll turn the heat up on this.
Are we using all butter for the Provencal sauce? Or are we using any olive oil?
Actually, olive oil, and then I'm gonna finish the dish with butter on this side. Yeah.
Got you.
So butter will go in just in a little bit. Yeah, it's starting to
There we
turn.
go.
Yeah. So it calls for a lot of butter, and besides the heavy garlic, you're gonna taste a lot of the.
Yeah, I
olive oil.
mean, you know,
So
I
just-
made something fairly similar to this the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for 4 of us, I used about a half a pound of butter.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know, first of all, that doesn't mean you have to eat all of that, the sauce, right? Because you never want to run out of like butter garlic sauce.
Oh.
You don't want to run out of it. I'd rather have a little bit extra and not use it than run out.
Okay, I'm gonna.
But boy, it makes it taste so good.
Okay, so I'm gonna add our olive oil here. Yeah, this pan is nice and hot. So we're gonna saute our onions and garlic.
Okay.
I'm sorry, onions.
You always
Okay.
want to start with those onions, right?
Yeah, no garlic because we already have tons of garlic.
Oh,
in it.
okay.
Yeah, this was a.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just going onions first because you didn't want your garlic to burn, but you don't want garlic in there because there are there's copious amounts of garlic in that.
Yeah.
Got it. Now
Yeah.
that makes much more sense.
That
But
would be overkill. Here.
we're both kind of right though, right? You wouldn't go like garlic in there first. You would go with the onions first, right? Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so I got the heat perfectly on this one.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So this is starting to get there.
Turn those shrimp again,
Yeah.
and look at that. Oh boy, that the butter and the olive oil start to come together. It's kind of creating its own little sauce in there.
So we're gonna add a little bit of our. Let's add our Provence. Provence
Herbs de Provence.
herbs de Provence. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's gonna be absorbing into the butter.
And we don't want to add that too early. We want it to have a little bit of liquid content in there when we add that so that it doesn't burn those dried herbs, correct?
There you go. So that's cooking. It's starting to smell good in here too.
Yeah, it's starting to smell great.
So we're gonna add some wine. Give it some liquid.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And that nice sort of acidic balance because we've got a lot of fat in there with the butter. And shrimp is while it's sweet, it's also meaty. It's also got that sort of fatty quality to it, at least when it's in the mouth, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Turn the heat down. So focus on the heat. Okay. So this is just about done. Translucent on the
Alright.
onions. I'm gonna add my tomatoes.
There's also a little bit more acid there to cut that. Yeah, I see what you did. I mean, it's a very well-balanced sort of, like, flavor-wise, right? Adding a little bit of sweetness here, a little bit of acid. We've got our salt quality, lots of garlic, lots of butter.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn the heat down on the shrimp. Let's give it a quick toss. We're just about done with our dish. We
Nice.
just turn the heat down, way down on the shrimp. While that's simmering, we'll finish on this.
Right, because they're pretty much probably cooked through at this point, so you're just kind of holding them now.
Okay.
Do we season at all over here?
When I add the pasta.
Okay.
That's
All right.
when I will finish it. So. Okay.
And how about the parsley? Does that get tossed in with the pasta?
It will be at the end.
At the
Yeah,
end,
I'll
so it
toss
doesn't.
that at the end.
You add the parsley, that fresh herb, too early, it's going to lose its color, right?
Loses color, yeah, and it'll disappear a little bit.
Yeah, you
So-
cook the flavor out of it, exactly.
Okay. So what I'll do is just strain it. And this is a fairly simple dish. This is a quick meal. So
Yeah, you know, right.
I'm gonna set this
Very,
off to the
very
side.
minimal prep in terms of your mise en place.
I'll leave the salt, pepper
You got
here.
it. And you want the Parmesan too, right?
I'll keep this here.
Very, very little prep in terms of mise en place. Onions,
Okay.
garlic, parsley, tomato.
Okay.
Deveining some shrimp.
So I'm just going to melt the rest of the butter in.
You go for it.
So it's about 4 ounces altogether that I added. So
Takes
that's
about,
gonna
okay.
that's gonna melt right in there, and
It's about a half a cup of butter.
yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Okay.
This is almost sort of like the equivalent of French scampi.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's basically a scampi. There you go.
Beautiful.
I'll give it a quick toss. Salt and pepper.
Okay.
Just need a little bit bigger pan. I will be able to toss it correctly, but
That's all right. Give it the old flip.
yeah.
Not a
Okay.
problem. Most people that are home are probably going to do it this way anyway.
Yeah.
You kind of got to get that flip down before you start,
Okay.
like, you know.
Just pour that in there. I'm going to turn the heat down on this one.
All right. So we're going to combine these two at this point?
Yeah.
All right.
It's going to turn into a nice home-cooked dish.
Great.
And-
the pasta gets added to that pan, I would imagine.
Actually, no, it's a separation between the entree. It's not tossed together.
Oh, you're not going to toss it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what we are going to do. We're going to take a break, and in that time, we'll get cleaned up. We'll plate some, and then we'll come back and we'll have some food.
Yes.
That sound good?
That sounds really good.
Great. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Planning a dinner party? Figure out how much food you need with the Guestimator at SaveTheFood.com.
Welcome back to Community Cooking. I'm with Chef Samuel Sellona, and in front of us we have two delicious-looking plates of pasta Provencal and this garlic lemon thyme shrimp, and it smells and looks fantastic. I'm going to get it. Actually, you know what I want to do? You have this beautiful garnish here. Which everything you do always looks so great, and I bet you this right for the.
Yeah.
I mean.
Just get a nice.
Right? Give it a little bit of
citrus butter.
brightness. You got all that butter and that olive oil and that garlic. All right, speaking of which, I'm getting in. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Shrimp is succulent. You know, for as much garlic as you put in that, it doesn't have that sort of garlicky, that sharp garlicky
No,
flavor.
actually, when it cooks, it starts to get sweet.
And then I'm going to just drag this pasta through that sauce. I love the angel hair with this too, right?
Yeah, delicate.
Lighter, delicate. That is absolutely delicious, and as you saw, fairly easy to pull off. I mean, this is definitely a weeknight meal, correct?
Yeah, nice family meal.
Chef, thank you so much. You always do such great stuff. You know the invitation to come back always stands, right? Okay.
No problem.
We'll take you up on that.
Okay.
All right. It really goes to show you we are cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community. So on behalf of myself, Chef Samuel, everyone here at Community Cooking, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
If you'd like a copy of the recipes seen on this show, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Office of Cable and Community Relations. That's 3350 Civic Center Drive, Suite 200, in Torrance, California, 90503. Be sure to note the show number displayed on the screen. And don't forget you can find all the fresh ingredients used on today's show at the Farmers Market. Visit the one here in Torrance at Wilson Park. That's located at 2200 Crenshaw Boulevard. They're open every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., rain or shine. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at communitycooking@torranceca.gov and check us out online at youtube.com/TorranceCityCable and like us on Facebook at Community Cooking TV.